Terri Lyne Carrington. Let's see, my dad plays saxophone, and my grandfather played drums. He passed away before I was born, but I sort of came out the womb playing drums. I played his kit when I was 7 and never stopped, basically. My dad knew a lot of jazz musicians, so when they would come to town, I would get to sit in and jam with them. People like Dizzy Gillespie and Les McCann and Joe Williams, Rahsaan Roland Kirk, Sonny Stitt, just a lot of jazz legends. And that was very instrumental in propelling the early stage of my career. Well, I have a theory. If kids hear it, as they're growing up, from infancy on, like I did, I think a lot more people would get the jazz bug, so to say. For me, it was just hearing all this great music that my dad played. And I still listen to contemporary music, R&B, pop radio, all of that. But when it came down to playing, it's the thing that I felt most comfortable with because I was able to be so expressive, and I just like the feeling of the music. It's rooted in the blues, so he played a lot of blues-based jazz. And I think that was a great foundation because most everything is rooted in the blues. So now I feel that I can kind of go anywhere. It's expanding so many different ways, which I'm excited about. You have, people like Robert Glasper, it's mixing R&B with jazz. Then you have, or hip hop with jazz. Then you have Esperanza, who's mixing world music, with jazz as well. And then there's so many people too, Christian Scott, Aaron Parks, a lot of people that are mixing, I guess, what you might say indie rock with jazz. And it's just really exciting to me to see how many different spins people can bring together all of the things from their history and from their childhood all onto one project. So many of these people were like mentors to me. Clark Terry being my first mentor, who recently passed. And I'm so happy that he got a Lifetime Achievement Award before. And he was a mentor to Quincy Jones, so it's like this, all of this lineage passed on. Clark Terry worked with Duke Ellington, so he passed on a lot of information from Duke Ellington, to me. And then I covered a Duke Ellington record and had Clark on it, so it felt like a full circle. And then when I was 21, I auditioned for Wayne Shorter and got that gig. And he just became a mentor on so many levels, spiritual level and musical level. And then through him, I started working with Herbie Hancock as well. And, that became very pivotal, working with both of them, pivotal in my career. Because it's like kind of, where else do you go in jazz? I also used to say, I want to play with the Rolling Stones, but I guess that might be difficult. But in the jazz world, I had kind of, reached the top. And I think that is also what propelled me to start doing my own music. Because I played with, the greatest, as a side person. And learned so much, I wanted to, put that together and make my own statement. Working with Stan Getz was great as well. I was actually his last drummer, I did his last tour. And, he was an amazing natural musician, such an original sound and interpretation, of melody, and just a one of a kind. And that's, one of the things I've learned from all of these greats is that you have to have your own voice and your own sound. And, none of these people spent much time trying to jump on a bandwagon or copying. In the beginning, you copy what you hear. But as you develop, you have to have a vision and your own take on things. And I think that's one of the biggest things I learned from all of them. And I waited, quite a bit of time to really jump into that myself. And I guess I waited till I felt I was ready. Well, I think for any instrumentalist and vocalist too, you have to have good technique. You have to be articulate and be able to speak well on your instrument. There's no time or room for excuses with the basic craft of speaking on your instrument. But then, there's that level of digging deeper which is a lot harder to teach, or if not impossible, to teach and to, make a statement. So I think all of that comes from the music that you've been hearing your whole life, and also the experiences that you've had, so that you can bring those experiences into a personal statement. And that's very difficult. But you have to have the tools, at least in the beginning, to be able to then move into that arena. So I'm a stickler on teaching the basic tools and mastering those. I go back and myself and try to master something very simple. And when you do that, the more difficult things come so much easier. I often ask myself the same thing, what is it that I like to do the most? And I realize I think most people have many interests. And if you're fortunate, you're able to explore all these interests and hopefully do something worthwhile, with them all. So for me, of course, I'm a drummer and I love to play. I'm an educator, so I love to teach. I think to do anything, you have to love it. I absolutely love producing because I like taking something and making something from nothing, or taking an idea and fertilizing it and watching it develop and grow and being able to move with the idea and not be too stuck, in my own idea that I can't see how something is naturally going. And that's very exciting to me because you just don't know. It's a mystery. You don't know how it will turn out. I also enjoy singing. Most of my records, I sing something. This record was very ambitious for me to sing a song, with all the great vocalists that are on the record. I think my song is between Layla's and Lettucey's, or Layla's and Paula Cole's, or somewhere in there. So, it's very ambitious of me. But and writing, I think there's nothing better than writing a good song. I really enjoy writing lyrics. On my new CD, I've written quite a few, maybe six songs, 6 lyrics. That's very gratifying to me. And also, composing and arranging horn arrangements or rearranging classic songs, something I like to do. And I think, you have to be bold to do that because everybody's heard it before one way, and so you're not trying to say what you're doing is even comparable. It's just different. You want to make sure that it's different in a way that is still palatable. And then, writing my own, more jazz-oriented music is great and very challenging because that's where I come from, and that's, more the stuff that, how do I say? We really have to dig deep as a drummer to write melodies and harmonies that great instrumentalists will want to play. So for me, that's a challenge as well. So all those things help to shape who I am, and I think that they all come together in a way that's unique. Well, I think when I write something or arrange something, I have the person in mind that I'm going to collaborate with, and if it's a vocalist, I really hear them in my head. I try to demo my songs or arrangements that fit them and to suit them, and I even try to sing a little bit in their style so that they can hear themselves on it. And I think that's definitely been one of the keys to my success in getting so many great people to collaborate with. I do feel that I have, a bit of a knack for matching music that can actually still be challenging to the person, but still fit them. And that's kind of my goal. I think nobody wants somebody to bring them something that they really feel, they could just do with their eyes closed. I think people are always up for a little bit of a challenge, but still want to feel like, they own it. So that's what I try to do. That's how I approach collaborating. The new album is called the Mosaic Project, Love and Soul. It's a collection of mostly love songs, um, with the soul part is in two parts. It's soul music has influenced this record for sure, and also I think it reflects the soul work that I've been doing over the last years, coming into that middle stage of my life, and that's a time to reflect and really look at life differently. So I was trying to be very open and somewhat vulnerable, with this record and speaking on those issues. I know I've never made a record with mostly love songs and writing most of them or half of them myself. Um, and the people that are on it are Natalie Cole and Shaka Khan and Oleta Adams and Valerie Simpson, Jaguar Wright and Layla Hathaway, Shantae Moore, Liz Wright, Lettucey, and Paula Cole. So I'm really blessed and fortunate that so many of these people are friends and people that I've worked with in the past, and I was able to reach out to them, and if they were feeling it, I hope that they would say yes. Nobody's getting rich on jazz records. So, it was really a matter of trying to come up with some good work. And it's funny because I feel like I'm one of those people that I'm in between. I love jazz and I love R&B and hip hop and I love all of it. So I try to put some of those elements, meeting point with all those elements in this record. And I keep thinking, well, the hardcore jazz fans may not feel this one as much, or R&B people aren't going to feel this R&B. So it's one of those records that's in between genres. But I think you have to do that to try to stretch the listener and stretch yourself.